Alright y'all, welcome back to another edition of Collector's Market Watch where we talk about all things Lorcana from a collector's perspective. That means chase cards, sealed product, and promos. And y'all, we are officially on Fabled Watch right now. We're less than a week out from multiple different critical events coming into the market that should affect price points, volatility, both on the Fabled side as well as just the Lorcana side in general. We're going to talk about those things and so much more. But y'all, before we get into it, you know the drill. It means so much to us if you'd consider scrolling down and smashing that subscribe button. We do pack opening content on the channel every Sunday and Thursday. Market Watch content on the channel every Tuesday, just like today. Also, make sure, scroll down, go join the Discord. Links down in the description. Go mix it up with us in there. And with all that out of the way, let's dive right in. And I'm pretty sure as I was setting this episode up, it's going to be all singles. Don't hold me to that completely, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be A, all singles, and B, a lot of Fabled, because I do want to at least call out and have this documented for the week prior to different sets coming out or different parts of Fabled coming out, etc. But kind of want to talk about like a fork in the road that we're seeing with Fabled right now. A, from a price perspective of cards that seemingly are roasting in price, which is fantastic, and also some that are falling in price, but that isn't always good or bad. It's usually half a dozen one way or another, because when cards are falling in price, you say to yourself, hey, that could be a good opportunity for me to get involved and buy in. And B, when cards are roasting in price, popping in price, you're like, hey, that's great. I own that card. So much fun. Even if you're never going to sell it, even if you're a game player, you want to have the card just to hold in your collection forever. It's still fun to see that it's, doing well and there's other people out there loving the card. Eye to Eye is a card that very much fits that mold. As we scroll down here, we're going to see that lowest verified coming in right here at 175, absolutely popping the last 2 weeks off of its low. Looks like up about $40 average retail off of its low. And right now, if you want to get one, you can get one for $186.70, lowest verified from Yeti Dungeon. Is that what that is? My man, absolutely fantastic. So on one hand, what I want to call out here is at least speak to this idea that, look, first and foremost, I completely understand different tack on the cards, and just because something is a certain ink type, is inkable, etc., that is not indicative of it at all of being the meta thread that you would pull on, right? So like the card is inkable, it has decent tack, right? But at the same time, when we look at a card like Eye to Eye that's been doing so fantastic, right? That is not necessarily indicative of having one thread to pull on, because immediately, as we shift into Powerline, the world's greatest rock star, very similar look and feel where we have, a Ruby 6-cost inkable card, but at the same time, it's a very different story. So you say to yourself, like, okay, is Ruby kind of the new meta? Which, spoiler alert, it's not. The meta is pretty wide right now, right? At least for someone like me who's watching it from afar. There doesn't really seem to be anything that has a complete chokehold. I mean, Blurple is still at least somewhat prevalent, and you can build a deck for like over $5,000 and stuff like that. So at least that might prove out that point. But there's still so many combinations that are having success in tournaments that I'm seeing, etc. But anyway, when we see Powerline World's Greatest Rockstar, once again, very different feel, right? Like, obviously, the price isn't necessarily indicative, right? I mean, I could sit here and tell you like 135 average retail market price, like that's all well and good. But at the same time, completely different vibe that is happening right now, just absolutely plummeting off of its high. This is actually, ironically, the exact opposite of Eye to Eye, where you have low retail coming in at 135, pop into 175, complete inverse with Powerline. 175 high, coming all the way down, 185 high, I guess technically, coming all the way down to this like low 130 type vibe, right? Coming in looking at like 136 lowest verified listing. So it's very interesting, like as we start looking at things from a collector's perspective versus a game player's perspective, we really are seeing a very interesting blend with Fabled. And I do think that this is indicative of more individuals on the collector side coming into the Fabled market, coming into the Lorcana market, which is really, really exciting, because honestly, at this point, we want all comers, right? As we always say, the game players set the tone. They are the foundation for any hobby. And then you come in and you have collectors who want to be along for the ride, and they want to be able to enjoy things from a nostalgia perspective. So like, that's all well and good. That's fantastic. But right now, very two different feels. So like, we have cards like Eye to Eye and some others that we're going to talk about here momentarily. But then you have Powerline, as well as cards like, honestly, my favorite artwork, which is Circle of Life. Same exact thing, right? Like, completely coming down off of its high. Honestly, what a fall from grace when you think about that Fabled FOMO hype. High sales price on TCG Player coming in at $200. Low sales price coming in at $115, right? So like a completely different look and feel. And there is that bucket of cards where it's like they kind of are just gradually falling off. To be honest with you, doesn't really matter whether you have a card like Eye to Eye or you have cards like Powerline, Circle of Life, really doesn't matter. These trends of the second wave of the first print coming out, just a pure commodities, pure population play, like more cards in circulation, more enchantments, more Circle of Lives, more power lines, more eye to eyes, all in circulation, should sag the price. And we should see that in the coming weeks. I don't know if it's going to be right on the release of it. And also someone in the comments let me know this because I'm not 100% positive. I do know that we have certain critical events happening on October 3rd, which we're going to talk about here momentarily. But I'm not sure if that's also when the second wave comes out. Someone in the comments let me know on that, and I would be greatly appreciative of that. But once again, as we start to look at these things, we start to see certain trends. But what's interesting is the meta trend continues to reign supreme and continues to parallel itself. As we scroll over and look at two of undoubtedly the hottest enchanteds in Fabled, and I don't think that they have ever looked back since the moment that Fabled came out. We both have Dumbo, Ninth Wonder of the Universe, as well as Hades, Infernal Schemer. Both of these cards, obviously, at first glance, different market price, like 320, 247, kind of off tilt when you think about it from that perspective. But as you start to peel back the layers, you can truly see trends. And the meta trend is one of the most prevalent that you always have the ability to see within TCG Player. Let me show you what I'm talking about right here. So I'm going to scroll down and check out Dumbo, Ninth Wonder of the Universe here. You see this 3 month here. You kind of see that we have first you have this big pop right here. And then you start to see this little bit of a gradual decline and we're starting to taper off. The market is kind of saying right now, this is as high as we're willing to go. It's a phenomenal card, phenomenal tack. Dumbo owns the meta right now. That legendary still is somehow cracking that 60-ish, 70-ish dollar price point, which is absolutely bonkers. But we're not willing to go any higher, right? That is what the collective market, all of the game players, the collectors, just everybody who, puts their 2 cents in and embodies the market collectively. That's what they've said. Now, again, you get people in there who might pay $400 and then someone gets a sweet deal for $280. That stuff happens, but on the mean, on the average, the market is kind of saying this is where we feel comfortable. Let's go over here, take a look at Hades. So as we scroll down and look at Hades, what do we notice here? We notice something very similar, right? We see first and foremost that we have this high pop right here, and then we start to go down, taper off. These are two of the most meta cards in Fabled, and honestly, in the meta in general right now. You also have Bell, Accomplished Mystic. There are certainly other cards in Scar. There are still cards within Fable that are super meta. But just giving you an example here of this is kind of how you can sort of parallel and peel back those tea leaves to understand why certain things are happening. So very interesting on that side. It looks as though we have kind of found our stabilization from a gameplay perspective as it relates to chase cards that are both collector and meta relevant. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with these two absolute standout 5-star cards as some of these critical events happen. Let's go back here and now let's talk about, of course, what we have to talk about. Let's do a little Mickey mini check-in here. So let's first talk about the Mickey. Brave Little Prince, iconic, the absolute darling of at this point, Lorcana, right? I mean, this card is the number one from a retail perspective. I can honestly say at this point, this card is right up there with Elsa, Spirit of Winter, where obviously it's more expensive than Spirit of Winter, but right here, right now, if you could pull either card, right? Which would you honestly? Probably really mixed reviews. Some people might say Elsa, some people might say this card, and I get it. On one hand, you say, well, it's obvious, it's Mickey. It's more expensive than Elsa. Yeah, that's true. If you're looking to pull it and sell it right away, you're 100% correct. You'd rather pull the Mickey. But if you're looking to hold something in your collection long term, I don't know. Do you want the big chase from the number one set of all, the first ever base set in the hobby? Or do you want the contemporary darling of the hobby right now, right? I mean, it's tough. It's your preference, right? But looking at Mickey Brave Little Prince, a lot of the things that we talked about in last week's episode still remain prevalent to right now. But I mean, this card, man, what is going on with this card? This card continues to defy gravity. And I really don't understand it. But hey, that's okay. I'm all for positive momentum in the hobby. Do not get me wrong. But honestly, at a time where more packs are being ripped, more Mickeys are being sold, very liquid card. And that's part of it, right? Because the card is so liquid, because people want their hands on this card right now, and they feel like they want that piece of history, they want that FOMO. They're willing to buy into the FOMO. I did something very similar, right? As owning a Mickey Iconic. I pray that I can pull one on the Sunday, Thursday episodes. Go watch those videos, check those out, because I will keep ripping until it happens. But it is very interesting to see this card continue to pulse check the market. Once again, everything remains the same. I do believe once we have more product out there, we will see that natural dip. Nothing is, omitted from that type of critical event. So I would expect the same thing to happen here. Honestly, if it passes through that critical event, honestly, there might just be no stopping this card. And that'd be awesome. Like, that would truly be awesome. Right now, though, if you want to get your hands on one, you're going to have to pay $1,800, a little under $1,800. I believe, and I'm going to do this on the fly. I usually always do this on the fly, which I really should. I should be better about not doing this on the fly. But yeah, I will say I did sneak in here. I did see that someone caught a very good deal here at $1,100 here a couple weeks ago or whatever. That's absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, that there is that trend of, like, to be fair, like a couple weeks ago, that also looks like that was kind of the market like a couple of weeks ago. Like, you could get one in the 900s like 2-3 weeks ago. It has just gradually, steadily raised in price. But at the same time, that's fair. Here it is. You know what? Honestly, and see, this is why you don't do stuff on the fly. But I'm going to call it out right here. There's the good deal right there. So anyway, let's backtrack. Still, it still holds true. The logic still holds true. You have it at this like super low price point, and people think like, wow, that's crazy. Like, no way. It's going to definitely go under $1,000. I'll be the first one to say that I thought that was going to happen. It has done nothing but gone up. Someone did sneak in and get a very good deal there at $1,050, but at the same time, we're at the point now where $1,050 is a good deal. So super interesting with that card. It'll be super interesting to see what happens in the future with that card. But again, I will say, with every single card in Fabled, do not be surprised if you just see like a unified sag in the entire market. All 200 plus cards. Do not be surprised if you see that. And then also looking here at the mini, same exact look and feel of what we called out with the mini. Now again, it looks here like you see like, oh, it's just going down in price. But at the same time, there is that continuous stabilization that we've talked about here. We talked about last week how the market has kind of just said, this is going to be what we want the price to be. We feel good about this. This card is prime for a dip in price. It has completely stabilized. A critical event should do nothing but just like bring gravity down to the card. Honestly, like, if you're looking to kind of attack the market with one of these two, this is the one to absolutely wait on. I know it seems like you really want to wait on the Mickey, and honestly, you probably should wait on both of them. There's probably going to be better times ahead for both, but I would be absolutely stunned if after 2 weeks of stabilization, more minis coming into the market rose the price with mini. That would make no sense, right? So like, this card is primed for a dip. I don't know what that's going to be, but like, if you've held out this long and you've waited this long, you may as well just keep going a couple more weeks and just see what happens, right? Like, you might as well just see what happens. And like I said, I think there's a pretty good chance that many will go down. Let's shift over though to those critical events. And one of the critical events we talked about, the second wave of the first print coming out of Fabled. Also we have the idea of the gift set as well as the collector set coming out. Two very different market indicators though with these two things, because when we look at the gift set, we will set the stage for it. First of all, this thing is all over the place, which I don't really understand why, but $55, unopened $60, coming in lowest verified listing of $61. Don't pay that. Don't do that. That will continue to go down. But this is wild right here. Like, this little like absolute like pop in price over the past like month or so. Again, this is just FOMO. This is just people like, it's a week out. You feel like, oh, like I'm ready, like it's about to be out. Like, let's get my hands on one now, just in case a week from now I go and look and, I can't find any in my LGS. I can't find any in Target or Walmart or wherever you get your packs, wherever you get your product. Yeah, that's just the FOMO. However, obviously, yes, the promo of the Elsa inside is a huge draw. People love Elsa and want to be able to get their hands on Elsa. But just keep in mind that, at least to my understanding, there are no Fabled packs in these gift sets, which, for all the good things that Lorcana has been doing lately here in Ravensburg, they've really been dialing it in lately, really been A, listening to the community, and B, giving things based off of that feedback. They're doing a fantastic job. That being said, there needs to be the contemporary set in the contemporary product. You have to have Fabled in the Fabled gift set. You can't have Fabled gift set and not have Fabled in it. If I am wrong on that, just let me know. But from what I understand, it's only sets 5 through 8 that are going to be in this gift set. And so it's like, honestly, like that doesn't make any sense. However, the promo is great. But again, with the promo, like, is the promo going to end up being, 30, $40 maybe at first? But again, you go back, you look at the Lilo and the Stitch from the last gift set, you look at the Stitch Alien Buccaneer from the Azure at Sea, you even look at the promos from the Disney 100 collection, the Floodborne gift set. Like, they're all super, super, super affordable right now. That is where this Elsa is headed. So again, this is just pure FOMO. And again, with the gift set, this shouldn't really be an indicator of a critical event that's going to affect the card prices with Fable. That really should not happen because there's no Fable in here. However, it is a very interesting critical event that could affect the market. So we will see how that pans out and what that affects. However, the collector starter set is absolutely something that will affect the market for the simple fact that you get packs. There are 4 packs in the collector starter set, which means that there's going to be more Fabled in circulation. Again, that's just another critical event, right? No different than we're going to bring out more booster boxes. We're going to bring out more troves. We're going to bring out more blisters. We're going to print the starter set, right? Again, like all the same things that we've talked about. I think we talked about the collector set like a month ago. I think it was visible on TCG Player a month ago. It hasn't moved that far. I forget what it was. I almost think it was like 75 when we talked about it a month ago. We're still here. Like I did the same exact math for y'all that I'm going to do right now, right? Like, okay, what is a pack? $8, which would be, that's hefty. Like that, like, I mean, even if a pack is $10, which is bonkers, that's ridiculous. Don't pay $10 for a Fable pack. But let's just say it is. Like, let's be obnoxious. It's $10. It's $40 for 4 packs. What is the Tinkerbell promo? Another $10. That's $50. $15 for the binder. I mean, I get, unless it's like ridiculously high quality, which I'm not saying that it's their MO not to print something high quality, but like, it's just more than likely it's going to be a very nice binder, but nothing that like, I mean, you can get like Vault X binders and like really high quality binders for like $20. So like, I mean, realistically, it's going to probably be a binder that's like somewhere in the $10, $15 range. You're still underneath that price. And I went completely obnoxious on the prices. More realistically, this is a $45 product, right? And you're like, so just try to do your best to steer clear of it, unless like, if you want to go in and get you one, I totally understand. I understand like the Tinkerbell and the Elsa, both extremely coveted promos. People are going to want them. Totally get it. Like, this is the exact type of thing to just be super patient with. Your time will come. There will be better days ahead for Fable across the board because of events like this. But again, when we think about the gift set and we think about the collector set, while those coming into the market will sag the prices of certain things like Fabled booster boxes and packs and enchanteds and all of that stuff, keep in mind that this is going to be a clock reset when we talk about the collector set and the gift set. This is where the FOMO is going to flock to, right? So that's where you want to be able to say like, okay, this would be a great time to look what's been affected in price by, for example, here the collection starter set, and maybe attack those things. The moment the collection starter set is out, you might see that price spike because people are like, oh, it's the new hottest thing, right? So 2 very different strands to pull on. Just make sure that you're kind of doing your due dilly when it comes to when the collection set comes out. How does that affect just like individual sealed prices for Fabled packs, etc.? That's what you want to be focused on. And y'all want to close things out looking at recently sold items from eBay. I saw a couple of things that kind of popped out. Very interesting. So like we'll talk about those here real quick. First and foremost, you gotta love seeing the combination. They were side by side. The combination of the first chapter booster box as well as the Trove. Obviously, this is a tale as old as time at this point. Only 1 print run of the Trove, 2 print runs of the booster box. So obviously, that's how you have the booster box that sags underneath the Trove box. The Trove box is truly like the ultimate, like coveted, sealed retail thing. Like retail product in Lorcana. The Trove box, it's it, man. Like if you're looking like for the holy grail of sealed, it's going to be this long term just because there just aren't as many of them. Doesn't matter that there's less packs. It doesn't matter that the math isn't mathing. Like that's just kind of going to be probably what it is for the long term. Also very interesting, of course, to see eye to eye. We talked about that earlier. Also wanted to call out very interesting. When we talk about the Disney D23 collection starter set, the second iteration of it, of course, not the main one with the first edition stamps on it. This is the one that just has the D23 stamp on it. But I have noticed that the singles for those cards have been roaring in price a little bit more lately, which is obviously going to affect the sealed box. There was a time you could get that box for recently, like $130. So interesting to see that it's popping off again. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, right underneath here, I did see it. I absolutely did see it. One of the main cards that you can get from there, the D23 Collection Mickey PSA 10, $180 for that card. That is so steep. And hey, congratulations to whoever got that. Just make sure you're happy with it. If you're happy with it, it doesn't matter. None of what is spitting out of my mouth matters. But, a very attainable product, especially because they did lottery out a few more of those recently in the past few months. They absolutely printed a lot of the second edition of the D23s. So typically with something like that, when you do have a card, any type of card like that, is coveted, sought after, in any type of a healthy market, a 9, 8s and 9s are the kind of things you're tracking as pretty close to market price. 9s might be a little bit of an uptick, and then your PSA 10s, again, depending on the market and depending on the card quality and condition of the card, 2, 3, 4X, somewhere in there. Obviously, if you have a card say for example, and I actually think I think I just passed one, so I'll at least go show it as I talk about it. Perfect. The Rockstar Stitch, which very, very the folklore on that one is they were sent to the LGSs as super, super bad packaging. Very difficult to get a 10 in those. So that's the kind of thing where it's if you get a 10 in the Stitch, it's going to be multiple X worth what a 9 or what an 8 would be, because the market's flooded with 8s and 9s because there's a little chipping, little, edge wear, stuff like that, because I think they were just rubber banded and sent, right? When we talk about the Mickey that comes in that box, again, I'm pretty sure it comes in that plastic, that's molded to a card, but still the ones that I opened up, again, first glance, I'm ultra, I am a huge cynic with cards that I have. When I go to create a card, I am a huge cynic with it. I am not somebody who's oh, that's going to black label 10. I know it. It's no, hold on, chill. That's probably not going to happen. Look, how are the corners? How are the edges? Do I see any whitening? Especially on a black back of a Lorcana card. Perfect for to see that chipping, edge wear, anything on the surface, right? You should be able to be real with yourself and say this has a good chance. The box that I opened, of my 6 cards, they all look pretty good. And I know there's I'm pretty sure on again, cross-pollinating TCGs, but the man himself, Pat Flynn, did an open it or keep it sealed on those cards, and he got all of them back, and they all PSA 10. They all gemmed. So it is certainly a product where you can pull a lot. You can produce gems out of that thing pretty easily. So $180 is very interesting, but super, super excited to see that there is that FOMO on that side of things. But y'all, with that, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Collectors Market Watch. Be sure to comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all on the other side.